The sky is breaking. Where maps once promised weather, hurricanes flare over deserts and lightning strikes without a cloud. People are lifted like leaves by sudden breathings of wind. Oceans climb shorelines with a patience gone mad. News anchors call it not weather but a siege. In the ruins of Arc 10, Emsky kneels inside a storm chamber carved with runes and glass. He reaches out, palms open, listening to thunder that answers him. The Stormfather's voice comes distant and ancient, echoing through copper and rain. The sovereigns do not comprehend your worth. Emsky's jaw tightens. Then tell them, he says. You must show them. The Stormfather returns, and lightning crawls across the chamber, shaping into the silhouette of a colossal wolf that prowls overhead. When Zephyra's wind blades come slicing from the stratosphere, Emsky meets them in mid-flight, arcs of blue lightning deflecting razor gusts. She taunts him, calling his power childish. He grins, then climbs higher. Where air thins and the world below is a curve of blue and fragility. Zephyra demands a duel by an ancient right honor in single combat. Floating over Earth's glowing rim, they trade blows. His spiral spear of lightning against her razor cyclone. Their clash tears a temporary rent in the atmosphere, ringing like a bell. Emsky remembers the Stormfather. He stops fighting like a man and becomes a storm. Liquid light, a moving bolt that threads through the cyclone, reforms, and strikes. He says simply, rounds over. A thunderous bolt lands. Zephyra collapses into the cloud sea. The sky holds its breath now. A hush falls across the astral court as Zephyra kneels, head bowed beneath distant lightning. She whispers, the Stormfather chose well. Her voice trembles with reverence, but the verdict is not hers. Across the void, Mael Kairos stands unmoved, a silhouette of warped storms. Skill does not justify the theft of divinity, he intones, cold as an eclipse. His words fold the air. Gravity itself leans toward judgment. With a motion like tearing a page from night, Mael Kairos rips the fabric of space. A slit opens, dark and hungry. Storm clouds, ruined spires, even bolts of lightning hurry toward its maw, drawn by a gravity of accusation. He issues one final demand: return the spark or perish. Emsky stands at the edge of the rip, shoulders burning with borrowed thunder. He does not bargain. With a raw human scream, he hurls himself into the void winds, every limb fighting the shear of unmaking. Lightning cracks along his skin. He fights not with weapons, but with will, shouting, not giving you anything. Chaos answers. A hurricane, God, Galleon, breaks his serene distance, clutching laughter to his throat. This human's fun. Let him keep the spark, he bellows, and charges Mael Kairos. His impact scatters the void winds, a reckless god laugh that buys a single breath of possibility. The final assault arrives like a planet's heartbeat. Emsky channels the Stormfather's lightning into the world's magnetic spine. Blue and gold auroras surge, braided like rivers of light through the sky. He rises within that auroral crown and declares, I don't serve gods. I don't take orders from storms. I protect people. That's who I am. The sovereigns hesitate, then withdraw into the astral tempest. Zephyra bows. Galleon howls approval. Below, Earth spins on, calm and ordinary. Emsky stands on a cloud, aurora haloed, the storm recognizing him. Midnight. Metro City has gone dark. Only a few emergency beacons stutter like tired stars, and atop Metro Tower, Emsky stands with a lightning aura cutting the night, a lone lighthouse in a sea of wires. Screens that once hummed with life now spit static and a single distorted message. 0 hours 50, 9 minutes and 59 seconds. 0 hour approaches. The numbers pulse across glass, a countdown swallowed by silence. Power grids melt into glitching code. Traffic lights cough, sparks and die. Electric cars lock like trapped beetles. Whole neighborhoods fold into a hush. The city's heartbeat stutters. Emsky drops from the tower and becomes a living flashlight, streaking through powerless avenues. His hands crackle. Every step throws blue light over shuttered cafes and dark plazas. He thinks, feels like someone's hacking the whole city. Someone who understands lightning tech almost as well as I do. On a rooftop, a shadow watches him. Patient, still, a silhouette folded into the skyline. Far below, in a bunker of humming steel, Figures kneel before static glowing monitors. Red-Eye Prime's oculars flare. Tempest echoes storm fragments, clink like glass. Shadow Flash Reborn flickers in broken time. They listen as a voice spills from screens. Metro City falls tonight. Emsky's era ends tonight. 0 hour begins with me. The leader's name, Zero. In an alley, Shadow Flash ambushes, scattering lagged clones like shards of time. Still slow, Primeling? He sneers. Emsky snaps back. You're glitchier than my old phone. And fights, every strike ringing like thunder. Afterward, amid fallen sparks, Emsky finds a shard of glowing circuitry etched with a familiar sigil. Aurora Vale's insignia. He stares, whispering in thought. No, she wouldn't. Would she? The tower breathed like a dying colossus. Cables braided like roots and screens flickering like old constellations. Emsky stepped into the ruined server spire. Metal catwalk singing underfoot. Out of static and shattered code, a face assembled Zero. A colder, older echo of Dr. Aurora Vale. A hologram carved from ice and glass. Her voice was a tide of certainty. She told him the rift had consequences, and that she had learned to control them. Emsky felt the city pulse below and demanded reason. Zero called him a cosmic anomaly, a knot the universe never tied to begin with. She warned he would unmake more than one world. Emsky answered with a plea. If he threatened the multiverse, teach him how not to. Don't burn Metro City for a distant balance. Zero's armor of light hummed. She did not promise mercy. I don't burn worlds, she said. I reboot them. Around them the tower's displays synchronized, and a single countdown blinked into life. 0 hours 32 minutes. Time narrowed. Choices became machines. Beneath the streets, in vaulted tunnels, Emsky's protégés Miles, Fluxa, and Boltwing tuned themselves for a fight. Lightning clawed along pipes. Hack drones scuttled like beetles. Steam choked the passages. Miles lunged forward, hungry and reckless. Emsky gripped his arm and said, Slow down. Think. For a heartbeat, courage and caution met. Then Red-Eye Prime cut the city's nerves, a sweeping EMP that swallowed power and sound. The tunnels went black. A voice filled the void. Welcome to my vision. Metro City held its breath as war and choice closed in. The city awoke to a single, impossible change. The Metro Tower, tallest and proudest, refashioned into a black obelisk that drank light. Runes of neon white lightning cracked its skin, threads of power knitting a new gravity around it. From the plazas people trembled, screens declared it ground zero. Emsky didn't wait for permission. He climbed. Each level was a gauntlet of things, half arcane, half machine, shadow phantoms that split and swallowed his breath. Crystalline tempests that forged themselves into storm spears, and clockwork familiars that tore the air into static. He fell and rose, bruised and burning, every scar an oath. On the rooftop, under a sky freckled with torn aurora, Zero stood like a verdict, clad not in metal but in living rune, armor, circuitry writ as luminous vines. I was you once, she said, voice like a remembered tide, until I calculated the cost. Emsky answered with a simple, stubborn hope. This one deserves hope. She lowered her face, and the helmet came away. For a breath, Emsky saw Aurora's late-night laugh, the same green eyes now edged with ice. I loved a version of you, Zero confessed. So I will erase you to save the rest. The final minute bloomed into motion, two figures colliding against the tower's lightning spine. Precision met instinct, blades of thought against bolts of heart. When Zero pinned him with a neon blade and vowed annihilation, Emsky smiled through the crack and poured himself into defiance. Lightning answered him, roaring up through old foundations, folding circuits into ash. The obelisk spasmed. Screens worn down to 2 seconds. One, then system override aborted. Lights sighed back across the city. Zero slipped into a collapsing hologram, defeated but speaking as she faded. I couldn't save my world. The day Metro City split, the sky tore like glass. A white-blue fracture yawned above skyscrapers, and a second, wavering horizon hung like a ghost. Reflections in mirrored towers showed not one skyline, but two, an echoing city from elsewhere. people stopped. The air tasted electric. Doubles flickered at doorways. A baker who blinked out of phase, a child whose laugh layered over itself. On an avenue, a heroic alternate of Emsky crumpled mid-stride, collapsing into the pavement as the real Emsky watched, lightning coiling at his feet. From a rent in the air, a grinning villain materialized and snarled at two worlds at once. Blocks shimmered. Whole streets briefly became ruined versions of themselves. Bone, dry, and ash-gray. Emsky thought, this isn't a rift tremor. This is the multiverse. Bleeding. Then refugees came, faces not from this skyline, but from a dozen other mornings. They ran toward him, parents clutching children, a woman with ash on her palms. Your world is stable, she cried. Please, we have nowhere else to go. Emsky stood, thunder wrapped around his boots, unsure how to hold so many broken dawns. The sky divided further. From the fracture descended a colossal figure, armor like a living lighthouse. It walked the air, its presence folding light into verdict. The arbiter of light announced itself, judge of multiverses, selector of which realities would survive. Its voice chimed across dimensions. Unstable worlds must be culled. Survivors must be sorted. Light will judge worth. Screams braided with beams of white as some were lifted into assessment. Emsky's jaw tightened. Oh, hell no, he said aloud. He launched, storm trailing like a banner, colliding with armor that barely stirred. The arbiter peered down with cold luminescence. You bear the Stormfather's spark, it said. You may petition judgment. Emsky planted his feet in the torn air and answered, I'm not here to petition. I'm here to protect. Half the multiverse is prismatic light. The other half slips into shadow collapse. Metro HQ hums with displaced scientists and refugees, crowded beneath a projected diagram, Earth a thin thread between the two. A refugee scientist steps forward. The divide chooses randomly which realities survive, she says, unless someone interferes. All heads turn to Emsky. The air fractures. A portal tears open, and armored conquerors tumble through. Rift warlords born from broken timelines, their banners like torn clockwork. Karth, a warlord with star-forged armor and a gravitational hammer, booms. This world has power. We take it now. Emsky's protégés fall into position, shields raised. Miles whispers, is this every villain ever? From everywhere? Emsky narrows his eyes. Feels like it. A figure returns to the sky, the arbiter, shimmering brighter than the prismatic half. Defend your world. Defend your refugees. Prove your resolve, he intones. A sigil blooms across the clouds. Trial of mercy. The battlefield becomes a double-page crucible. Emsky throws himself between collapsing reality flares and children, taking blows meant for others. Boltwing and Miles eviscerate the gaps in the enemy ranks, hauling families to safety. Rift warlords swing gravity hammers that tear at the ground. Emsky refuses to strike lethally. He refuses to trade his soul for victory. The arbiter watches. He judges the heart. Time freezes. Dust, flying glass, and a child's hair hang motionless. Only the arbiter and Emsky move. You protect the weak even at cost to yourself. Why? Because that's my job? Emsky answers. And because someone has to. The arbiter nods. Next trial begins. Two portals split the sky. One to a world already folding. One yawning toward Metro. You can save one, the arbiter says. Emsky's jaw sets. Then I'm saving both. He explodes into lightning, multiple speed clones lancing into both portals as the arbiter's eyes widen. In the tier between worlds, Emsky strains, every heartbeat pulling two realities toward ruin. Lightning crawls across his skin and forms a lattice, a living map of converging truths. The luminous divide bends, but does not break. He becomes the bridge. Beyond, the arbiter watches, an ancient judge of universes. His voice rings, trial of will. The air itself folds as he pulls Emsky into a luminous dimension of pure energy, where geometry is law and thought becomes terrain. Fractal spears of light stab through the void. Armor shifts into prisms that split intent into shards. Emsky moves like someone remembering how to survive 1,000 lifetimes. Each step leaves glowing lattice footprints that burn into the floor of the realm, cataloging moments of mercy and stubborn courage. The arbiter strikes with beams that could cleave planets. He proclaims that hope cannot anchor a multiverse. Emsky answers with a simple, thunderous certainty. Watch me. He plants his feet, lightning braiding his arms and heart. He claims the right to defend a single world, to defend compassion itself. You want to judge worlds? Start with mine. He names a choice: compassion, unity, life. The Arbiter pauses, armor dimming as an idea is tested for the first time. Exhaustion etches Emsky's face, but he stands unbroken. A tremor of golden light sweeps across Metro City, sealing rifts and softening reality's wounds. Refugees step through stabilized portals. Emsky welcomes them. New world, new start. No one left behind. The Arbiter fades, warning of a dark thing born from Emsky's spark. The divide holds now,